Our today's webinar is dedicated to Southeast Asia, and we are honored to have Dr. Fanan Tu. He's the director at Center for Theological and Applied Culturology, University of Humanities and Social Science, VNU at Ho Chi Minh City. Our respectable guest of honor. I'm very excited today because she is one of my teachers back from NMI days, Professor Dr. Neeru Mishra, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. And Neeru Mishra, ma'am, is a DPhil, FRAS at visiting professor, Manipur Culture University, Imphal. And she is also a Tagore National Scholar. Today, the today's webinar is dedicated to Southeast Asia. So, Dr. Fanantu will speak about Jainism in the subjects for the Vietnamese student at University of Humanities and Social Science, VNU at Ho Chi Minh City. And after Fanantu sir's lecture, Dr. Bachchan Kumar will also give a presentation. And I just want to give a short introduction about Bachchan sir. Dr. Bachchan Kumar is a DLIT and a former founder director at IGNCA Regional Center, Ranchi, Jharkhand. Presently he is working as a director of Southeast Asia Department at All India Digambar Jain Heritage Preservation Organization. So, without wasting our time, I would like to invite Dr. Fanan to today's speaker. Over to you, sir. So, you have to unmute your mic first.
Okay.
Oh, that's just now. Dothuha ma'am has also joined us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining our meeting, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Can I begin? No.
Yeah, sure, please. You please start.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, professors and Indian scholar and all my friends. Thank you very much for your invitation. I will share my understanding about Jainism in some subject at my university. Thank you very much for inviting me to join your webinars. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Okay, now I will show. Sorry, do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I am Dr. Phan Anh Tu. I come from University of Social Science and Humanity in Ho Chi Minh City. This is one of those university teaching the major relevant to social science and humanity in the south of Vietnam. Maybe someone know me and someone don't know me. Someone also stopped by at my university already. Someone come to visit my university already, and someone never been to my university. And I hope after my presentation, you will know my university, and you will come and join some academic activity at my university in the future. Thank you. Yeah, my topic, that is Jainism in the subject for Vietnamese students at my university. And my university is a University of Social Science and Humanity. And my name is Phan Anh Tu, as you know. First, this is my introduction about Jainism at my university and in Vietnam. Jainism is one of the three religions from India. In Vietnam, we know that in Vietnam, we usually remind about three main religions from India. First is Hinduism, second is Jainism, and the last is Buddhism. Yeah, and in Vietnam, most of Vietnamese practice Buddhism. Yeah, and Jainism Jainism appear popularly in research paper in Vietnam. For example, when you type the words Đạo Jain in by Vietnamese, yeah, it means Jainism. When you type Đạo Jain on Google, yeah, that will you type by Vietnamese. It will appear 200,000 items relevant to Jainism within 0.63 seconds. Yeah, I will show you the one evidence that is those photos on Google, and you will see. Yeah, that's demonstrate that the Jainism appear in internet. Yeah, appear in a lot of articles and papers in Vietnamese. And at my university house, Jainism relevant to the subject at my university. Yet the first, the term Jainism has been translated into Vietnamese by the words Kỳ Na Giáo. It means Zena. Yeah, it means that we translate by in Vietnamese. Yeah, and the religions, it means Jainism has been researched and lectured at so many universities in Vietnam. For example, in Ho Chi Minh City, beside my university, there is one university. They also teaching a lot of subjects relevant to Jainism, especially philosophy of Jainism. That is Vietnamese Buddhist University in Ho Chi Minh City. And they have a faculty of philosophy, and they teaching a lot of subjects relevant to Jainism. Yeah. And at my university, that is a University of Social Science and Humanity in Ho Chi Minh City. And we are, yeah, that is it's a leading university in the south of Vietnam. And Jainism is designed for Vietnamese students who are learning some majors. For example, those who study some majors like this will approach to Jainism. First, that is philosophy. It means Jainism was a lecture at the Faculty of Philosophy first. And second, that is the Department of Religious Study. Yeah, and you know that at my university, we have the Department of Religious Study, and we also learn a lot of theories about religion in the world. And we also learn about Indian religions. Three very important religion from India. Students who study the religious study must learn. That is Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Yeah, and students who study at the cultural study. Yeah, it means my faculty. My faculty is a faculty of cultural study, and we design a lot of subjects teaching for students. Yeah, for example, Indian culture. Yeah, about the history of world civilization. And in that subject, we teaching some information about Jainism. Yeah, and literature study, Oriental study, especially in Oriental study, students who study Indian study, and Vietnamese students who are learning the Indian study, they must learn very, very carefully about Indian philosophy, Indian religion, and Jainism. That is a religion they study very, very well. Yeah, and I will show you the two photos. First, I mean the outlines of my, it means the view of my university. Maybe someone stopped by already and you know. And here's, and the second photo, that is the photo of our student at the library. Yeah, and second, Jainism has been teaching for both full-time and part-time students. You know, at my university, we design two levels. One is a full-time and one is part-time student. And a part-time student you can learn in the evening. But a full-time student, they must learn on day. Yeah. And then that's at the present, our university has over 40,000 students for three levels. One level undergraduate and postgraduate. Yeah, it means that from bachelor's to PhD program, and we have a three levels for training program at my university, and all students study that program, and they must study some subject relevant to Jainism. Yeah, and Jainism has been designed for a lot of subject. I can introduce you some subject. We design the Jainism as a part of this subject. For example, the first subject that is history of world civilization. It means that we study about all the civilization in the world. And India, India civilization is a part of world civilization. And when we teaching about India, we must teaching about Jainism, as a Jainism. Second, about history of India. History of India, it means students must learn about history from Mohenjo-daro and Harappa civilization until modern culture of India. Yeah, and they must study some religion in India, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikh, and some religion and the other religion. Yeah, that means the history of Oriental philosophy. That is the subject we teaching at the Faculty of Philosophy. Yeah, and that is a student must learn about philosophy of Jainism, and it means that the history of Jainism, about the view of Jainism and the philosophy of Jainism. Yeah, now to study about the Mahavira, for example, and introduction to the Oriental philosophy. That is also a subject to teaching at my university. And introduction to Oriental culture, and we study the older culture at the East, like India, China, Egypt, about the Persia, and about the ancient and medieval Indian philosophy, and then especially the Indian philosophy, very important. And this subject including 9 lessons of Indian philosophy. It means the Jain philosophy in the 6th lesson. And in the Department of Religions study, and students must learn the Oriental religions. And for example, at my faculty, a student must learn Indian culture. And another subject, that is culture of Buddhism. But in this subject, and the lecturer, the professor, also teaching about Buddhism in the background, in the Buddhism in the background of Indians of India. And they also compare with some religion like Hindus, like Jainism, and some subject relevant to the architect. For example, the subject, the well-known heritage in the world. India, we also teaching about some temple in India, Hindu temple, Chinese temple, and Buddhist temple. And the subject that is origin of culture and civilization, the India, and the world architectural culture, and the world fine arts culture. It means we teaching for students about the Indian art, about the relevant to Jainism. We teaching about the architect, about the temple, about the statue of Jainism in India. Yeah, and you see that there are a lot of subjects students must learn. All the subjects I introduce also has a relevance. Yeah, that has been relevant to Jainism, and each subject is about 2 Redic. It means about 30 teaching hours. Yeah, maybe from not all students must learn, but it depends on the faculty. For example, my faculty, it means the faculty of cultural study, and students must learn some subject relevant to India and Jainism. For example, culture of Buddhism, Indian Buddhism, Oriental culture, religious in India, for example. Yeah, and about the well-known heritage in the world and India. Yeah, and in my idea, I think that these subjects also provide the most basic knowledge for Vietnamese students to understand about Jainism. But in at my university, we don't have the faculty of Chinese study. We only have a faculty of religion study or philosophy study, yeah, or cultural study. So Jainism we only design Jainism in the subject. We don't have any subject like Jainism study, for example. Yeah, only the Jainism is belong to Indian culture. And when we teaching about Indian culture, Indian history, and Indian philosophy, and we must mention about Jainism. Yeah, and we decide about 2 matters, 2 issues. There are 4 issues we must analyze and lecture about Jainism for Vietnamese students. First, we lecture about history of Jainism and the Indian background. Yeah, I mean, maybe that is an Indian background when the Jainism was founded. Yeah, for example, when we teaching about Buddhism, and we also lecture about the Indian background and the Indian background when the Buddhism was founded by Sakyamuni, and we also talking about Jainism was founded in the same background like Buddhism, for example. And the second, we mention about the philosophy of Jainism. Yeah, about the talk of Jainism. And the third one, I mean, we teaching about the art of Jainism. For example, temple, for example, statue. Yeah, and the last one, that is the practice of Jainism. It means how Chinese practice their religion and Jainism in ancient society and modern society, and some influence from Jainism to outside India. I mean, it means to Europe, to Germany, for example. Yeah, and in my because I'm teaching about Indian culture. Yeah, and so I'm teaching about Southeast Asian culture and Indian culture, and maybe when I witness Vietnamese students at my university, I mean they are very interested in Jainism. It means that they raise a lot of questions about Jainism, and okay, professor should explain about Jainism. Maybe they should read documentary very carefully. It's especially for those who are learning major like religious study and philosophy and Indian study and cultural study, because students who learn this major, they should learn very carefully, and they try to find out about the meaning of Jainism and how Chinese practice their religious in India, and then for at my university, and we used to organize a seminar about Jainism. Maybe it's the first seminar. That is this seminar also attracted so many people to join. For example, I will show you some photo about the international seminars about the Indian culture through Jain heritage. That was organized in the 20 January 2019. And we also invite some Indian Chinese, some Chinese India in Ho Chi Minh City. There is a small, Indian community of Jainism in Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, so as I know, it's about 15 people. Yeah, and there is one leader. He usually gets touch with our university, and he's cooperate with us to organize this seminar. We also invite one Indian teacher. She is Chinese and she teaching English at my university and some university outside. And you see on the photo, she give a talk. She introduced for our student about the philosophy of Jainism and how to practice Jainism for her life and for small Indian communities of Jainism in Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, and then we also invite two Vietnamese scholars to talk about the philosophy of Jainism, and they are professors at the Faculty of Philosophy at my university. And I realized that there are a lot of people come to here. Yeah, because maybe they know Jainism only when they read the book, and now they want to witness how Jainists talking about their religions. So they are very happy to come. Yeah, and you know that not only students at my university, and there are a lot of researchers outside. When they read our note, and they come and they want to hear the Indian Chinese talking about their religion, and they raise a lot of questions for the Indian people. Yeah, and we after the seminar, we also taking a lot of photos for memory, and this is the Vietnamese and India delegated to organize the international seminar. That is there we are very happy to organize about this seminar. But this is the first seminar about Jainism at my university, and I hope in the future we can organize a lot of seminar about Jainism to introduce Jainism for Vietnamese students and a lot of Vietnamese people in Ho Chi Minh City. They really want to know about Jainism and how people practice. And before launching my presentation, I also offer some academic cooperation. I think that if you think that we can cooperate for the future, and yeah, we can sit in each other and discuss about maybe the way we can cooperate. It means that you know that at my university we don't have so many books about Jainism, but if possible, you can provide us a new number of books about Jainism. We have a lot of books about Hinduism, about Buddhism, and about Christian or Catholic, but Jainism is so rare. Yeah, and we can organize to translate into Vietnamese some important book about Jainism and public in Vietnam, published by Vietnamese, because most of Vietnamese cannot read English. And now if we select some typical book about Jainism and translate into Vietnamese and publish in Vietnam, and I think that this book is very important for Vietnamese reader. And in my at my university, yeah, and we can invite some Indian scholar come to university. I think that some people I think that some Indian participants here, you came to my university and lecture already, and someone came to my university for international conference. And we hope that in the future, and you can come and we can organize a seminar for you, and you can talk about Jainism for our students. And we can organize at least one international conference, if possible, about Jainism, between Vietnam and India at my university. And yet, this is my presentation. I would like to introduce you briefly about Jainism in the subject we are teaching for students. And totally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, 12. We have a totally about 15 subjects at my university relevant to Jainism. Yeah, but we don't design one subject about Jainism, only about India, and Jainism is a part of this subject for students. Yeah, and I would like to say thank you very much for your attention and for your participation to my presentation. And thank you very much, and I hope that we will have a very good cooperation in the future between my university and all the well-known scholars here. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Vanantu sir. It was really a short and a precise presentation. And I felt very happy to see that Jainism has been, the teachers like you are taking initiative, and your students are also taking a keen interest in subjects like Jainism. And I hope that rest of the countries from Southeast Asia must take inspiration from you, and they must start teaching Jainism as a subject in their universities. Okay, so let's do a question answers round. First, we'll start from Dr. Elsie Jain sir. He has raised his hand.
Yes, thank you.
Hello.
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 Yeah. Hello, sir.
Are you listening me? Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
sir, you are audible.
Yeah, I hear.
Firstly, I thank Dr. Fan and Tu,
Yeah.
whom we met at Vietnam at his university in 2018, along with our Babuji, Nirmal Kumar Sethi ji, when we were there. And I remember the hospitality he showed at that time. And
Yeah.
it was a pleasure to listen to his talk. And we are very happy that
Yes.
Jainism is being taught there. And especially when he told that one seminar was organized, one conference was organized in 2019.
Yes.
So that is the outcome of our visit perhaps in 2018. So
Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Now I want to know, I am very eager to know whether some examination of Jainism is also being conducted for the students learning Jainism there. And if it is so, what types of textbooks are being followed there? That is one thing, sir.
Yeah.
The examination in Jainism, whether it is taking place there, and if it is so, what type of textbooks are being followed there?
Yeah, what?
Textbooks of Jainism.
Yeah, you
Hello.
hello. Yeah. You want yeah, because I cannot get your idea. Yeah.
I want to know the books you are following for the students.
Yeah. We has a lot of book in maybe in the library. We have a lot of book to write about Indian history or Indian culture. Yeah, by library.
No, sir,
We
one
don't
minute.
have a,
I want to know about a specific book you are following for students. The
yeah.
for the syllabi you are following.
Uh,
The
we
book.
have a some book. We have a some book like maybe religions in the world. Yeah, we have a some book, but maybe I I forget the title. I forget the title to
Okay,
into.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I forget the title. But we have a book was translated into Vietnamese. But maybe about religion in general or Indian history in general. Yeah.
So, sir, do you conduct the examination also in Jainism? Examination with the students about
Uh,
Jainism? Some examination is taken. The students who are learning this
James.
Jainism, whether you are conducting some examination also.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Jainism. Yeah, Jainism. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you,
yeah,
sir. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank,
yeah,
thank,
yeah. Thank you,
thanks a
thank
lot.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Jokshri, thank you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
Bhagchandra ji and Bhaskar sir wants to ask a question. जी
yeah.
भागचंद्र जी.
और उसके बाद कमल जी जैन भी
जी
बात करना
जी
चाह रहे हैं.
भागचंद्र जी आप अपने माइक को अनम्यूट करेंगे प्लीज.
And here I see there's a professor Đỗ Thu Hà. She translates and also writes a book about Jainism. Yeah.
जी भागचंद्र जी.
Yeah.
अनम्यूट
राहुल जी आप इनको अनम्यूट कर देंगे प्लीज.
उनका कर दिया है उन्होंने फिर से बन के.
जी जी सर.
I want to know. आवाज आ रही?
जी आ रही है.
So my query is, what are the topics you are teaching in Jainism?
So I only teaching. Yeah. Maybe it's you know that at my university we don't design any subject teaching about Jainism. We only design some subject like Indian philosophy, Indian culture. For example, at my faculty, we have some subject like Indian cultures about and we when we teaching about Indian culture and we just mention about Jainism. Yeah, we don't decide one subject for Jainism.
So you don't have independent study of Jainism in your teaching? Or it is mixed up with Indian studies, Indian philosophy studies?
Yeah, that is Indian study or the Indian culture. For example, at my faculty, we have the subject is Indian culture, and in Indian culture we must mention about Jainism. Yeah. But you know that's there is one faculty they teaching a lot about Jainism. That is faculty of philosophy because they teaching about philosophy of Jainism. Yeah, and they design one lesson about philosophy of Jainism to teach for their students.
Kamal B. Jain sir also wants to ask a question. जी sir.
Yeah.
Sir, unmute your mic first. We can't hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Fan, first you accept our gratitude. We all are delighted from your wonderful speech. And I noticed that you asked for some good books. So we certainly send you we have the lot of books in Jainism. So we will certainly send you the books to your place immediately after in a day or two, so that you can pursue that you can go study that books and you can also organize a classes on the basis of that Jainism, on the basis of that books and Jainism. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm very happy if you can introduce. Yeah, I'm very happy if you can introduce for us some typical book about Jainism as you mentioned. Yeah, we would like to say thank you very much.
Okay, Harikesh Gautam sir has raised his hand. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes,
Harikesh Gautam sir?
I'm here. Yeah.
हरिकेश गौतम सर, क्या आप हमको सुन पा रहे हैं? Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
आपका
let's
माइक
proceed
अनम्यूट
to
हो गया
our.
है।
Sorry.
मैं बोलूंगा।
जी सर।
जी बाबूजी बोल रहे हैं।
मैं बोल रहा हूँ।
जी।
Thank you very much, Pangantu.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your so much good deliberation. We, as Mr. Kamal Jain has assured you, we will be sending you the books in a very short time.
Yeah.
And if you want, we can send you some scholars to deliver lecture on Jainism in your university.
Yeah.
Whenever you will, we will send you them.
Yeah.
And we will also invite your students or your teachers who want to visit India. We can also felicitate their thing, and we may organize classes for teaching Jainism. About 1 month course in India in the month of June. So at that time we will invite your students also. You may send about 5 students to us. We will be very glad to take them in our course of 1 month course in our program. Next thing is that whatever your international seminar you will organize, we will also cooperate with you. You know, the early name of Vietnam was Champapur. You know, Champapur was the our 12th Tirthankar, Vaspuja Bhagwan. He born in Champapur. So that Champapur is in India, in Bihar, but your Vietnam is also known as Champapur. So is a very good big ancient connection with you, because Vaspuja Bhagwan was the 12th Tirthankar, and your name of your country was Champapur. So very big relation with Jainism, for which your necessary so we should do the investigation in those things also. And we are very glad, and we want to appoint one person who can carry out the research work there from our All India Digambar Jain Mahasabha. We want to appoint one scholar to search about this antiquity of Jainism in Vietnam. So you can advise us. We will make him payment for that services. So we want your help. If you can recognize, and we will want to appoint one person on a salary basis. You see, so you can advise us. We are very grateful to you for giving so much valuable talk to us, because about Jainism, I am telling you, we have visited countries like Ethiopia, where we found Jainism, 1300 BC, 3 Jain temples in Ethiopia we found 1300 BC, and we found the Tirthankar Kayasar murtis in Mexico. They have told me that they have excavated those murtis from a site 2600 BC in Mexico. 2 Tirthankar images are there. So I suggest you that antiquity of Jainism is very there, but people have not tried to know that and to make the research work in that. Another thing I am telling you, as you have mentioned very well, that Buddha was first known as Sakya Muni. He was Sakya Muni. That Sakya Muni was, that is your Nirgant Parampara, that is Jain Parampara, and since it was a very hard, so he found out a midway. Lord Buddha was found out a midway, which is become very popular, because Jainism was very hard at that time. So you're telling about Sakyamuni, I'm very pleased to hear that, and I thank you very much by core of my heart. And also I thank you, our Do Thu Ha. She is very kind to us. She is very kind to us. She joined this seminar. So how much I should praise her. She is a great, she's very kind to us, very, very kind to us. She visited Lanka also on our invitation. And now we will take her to some other countries like Turkey and many countries we are visiting. So we will request him now that you join us in our next visit in foreign countries, those who are very much, and we are very keen to hear our Bachan Kumarji. He is with us now, and he is very learned man, and he will also speak and guide us in this subject. So, and then we will also hear Professor Niru Misraji. She is also a very learned lady, and she much knows about Jainism. So we'll hear them all. So thank you very much. Or you can continue.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
And
sir.
now let's proceed to our second lecture. I hope that we will be enlightened after listening to Dr. Bachan Kumar ji. He is a specialist in Southeast Asian studies, and earlier he was at director at IGNCA, and presently he has joined our organization as a director for Southeast Asia department. So now I would like to welcome Dr. Bachan Kumar, sir. Over to you, sir. सर अनम्यूट करेंगे अपने माइक को, हम सुन नहीं पाएंगे आपको.
कौन अनम्यूट कर रहा है? जयश्री मैम. जयश्री मैम
जी आप कर दीजिए, राहुल जी उनको अनम्यूट कर दीजिए, बच्चन कुमार सर को.
बच्चन जी बोले आप.
आपका माइक म्यूट मोड पर है सर. आपका माइक म्यूट है.
नौकर
राहुल जी आप कर देंगे इन्हें अनम्यूट.
बच्चन जी आपके कंप्यूटर पे ऊपर देखिए एक आइकॉन होगा
माइक का.
वो देख रहा हूँ.
जी जी आ गई आवाज, आ गई
आ गई.
जी जी
आ गई.
नाउ यू आर ऑडिबल सर.
आपने फिर से बंद किया बच्चन साहब.
हाँ आपने फिर से म्यूट कर दिया है.
अब आ गई.
जी 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 नाउ यू आर ऑडिबल.
Thank you. First of all, I welcome my esteemed friend, Dr. Fanantu.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm glad that here our two great friends, Dothu and Fanantu, we are here. And we belong to both we belong to same cohort of Asia Fellow in 2004-5. So since then we were close friend, and we were corresponding each other, and we are very much close. We are very much talking each other. So I was glad to see him on the webinar on Jainism. And I wanted to ask some questions to Fanantu.
Yes.
Fanantu, will you tell me why you introduce Jainism in your university? What was the purpose of your introducing subject Jainism subject in your university?
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, yes, because our student to learn about Indian civilization, because our student must learn about Indian civilization, and Jainism. When we mention about Indian civilization, we cannot forget Jainism. Yeah, Jainism.
I'm glad that you are a great scholar on Jainism, because even till date, I have not produced any article on Jainism, but you have produced an article on Jainism. I'm astonished to see that article.
That is when we introduce about Indian architect. When we introduce about Indian architect, we will introduce about architect of Jainism. Because we about archaeologies, we just focus on Indochina. Yeah, but outside Indochina, it means we can teach in like the pie art, like the pie art of India, the sculpture of India, the architect of India. Yeah, we don't teaching about the Indian architect. Yeah, and that's about the archaeology, Indian.
One thing I have suggestion. You teach your students Jain philosophy. Jain philosophy is a very nice subject and very interesting subject.
Right. Yeah, now we teaching about Jain philosophy for students who are learning the philosophy major. Yeah.
You know, Jainism is not a new subject for Vietnam.
Yeah.
As our Sethi Sahab, esteemed sir, has told me that esteemed Champapur is very important place in India, and it was the port of Gangetic mouth from where people used to go to Southeast Asia. I'm going to I'm going to enlighten on the routes to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
In my paper, in my not research, but I have collected some material, and I'm going to show these materials.
Yeah.
आपको बर्थडे की वीडियो बनानी है।
बर्थडे की?
हाँ।
किसकी?
वो मनीषा का।
तो मैंने भेज दिया ना उनको वीडियो बना।
All of you are seeing? हेलो।
नहीं, स्क्रीन पे नहीं आ रहा बच्चन जी अभी।
है?
अभी आपका स्क्रीन शेयर मांगिए, स्क्रीन पर नहीं आ रहा। योगश्री उनको वो दे दे।
सर शेयर स्क्रीन पे आप अपना प्रेजेंटेशन स्क्रीन वो कर सकते हैं शेयर।
कैसे?
शेयर स्क्रीन ऑप्शन लिखा होगा, उस पे आप क्लिक करेंगे, आप फिर आप अपना प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे तो हो जाएगा।
हाँ। अब आ रहा है?
नहीं।
पहले शेयर स्क्रीन पे क्लिक करें।
हाँ।
उसके बाद क्या आता है एक बार बताएं। बेसिक में जहाँ पे जो डिस्प्ले पे दिख रहा होगा आपका प्रेजेंटेशन, वो क्लिक कीजिए और सबसे नीचे शेयर का ऑप्शन है वो दबाइए।
ये शेयर का ऑप्शन तो मैंने दबा दिया, इसमें आ रहा है, हमारा स्क्रीन पर आ रहा है, आपका आ रहा है, वहां पर आ रहा है।
नहीं, दो बार करना पड़ता है। मैं एक बार फिर से बताऊँ। शेयर
आ गया? आया?
नहीं।
शेयर स्क्रीन क्लिक करते ही डिस्प्ले पे छोटा सा एक डिस्प्ले आता है,
हाँ, शेयर
उसमें
साउंड।
नो शेयर साउंड नहीं, बेसिक में सबसे लाइन में ऑलरेडी आपने ओपन करके रखा है मिनिमाइज करके वो प्रेजेंटेशन। आप एक बार पहले ओपन करके रख दीजिए, ओपन करते ही आप जूम पे
शेयर
आइए। यस यस
हाँ
हो
हाँ, हो गया हो गया।
हो गया।
आ रहा है।
हाँ
आ
आ
गया,
रहा है।
आपका पूरा डिस्प्ले
जी,
आया। आप प्रेजेंटेशन ऑन कर सकते हो।
अभी आपकी स्क्रीन आई है, अब आप प्रेजेंटेशन पे डबल क्लिक करिए।
हाँ, मैं कर रहा हूँ। आया?
जी जी,
नहीं,
Okay.
आ
Right,
गया,
right. Okay, good, good, good.
आ गया?
हाँ
आ
जी
गया।
हाँ जी।
इसे प्रेजेंटेशन मोड पे डाल दीजिए। ऊपर स्लाइड शो, ऊपर सेकंड लास्ट सबसे ऊपर स्लाइड शो बटन है। स्लाइड शो
रिव्यू से पहले,
रिव्यूज,
म्यूट से पहले।
रिव्यू से
हाँ
पहले स्लाइड
उसके
शो
साइड
है ना,
पे,
उस पे क्लिक कीजिए।
उसके भी
एनिमेशंस
साइड
के
में।
बाद में, हाँ,
व्यू शेयर,
उसके बाद में स्लाइड शो।
यस,
पाउच शेयर है, रिमोट कंट्रोल है।
नो नो नो,
आप ऊपर देखेंगे ना, आपने एनिमेशंस पे क्लिक किया हुआ, उसके बाद में हाँ स्लाइड शो ऊपर ऊपर सबसे ऊपर।
सबसे ऊपर तो मूट है।
रिव्यू से ऊपर आप अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन देखिए, उस पे प्रेजेंटेशन पे स्लाइड
हाँ,
शो लिखा होगा।
F5 दबा दीजिए, F5।
F5।
हाँ,
हुआ?
मुझे रिमोट दे दीजिए। रिक्वेस्ट आया होगा डिस्प्ले में, कुछ भी उसे एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए।
कैसे होगा?
डिस्प्ले पे कुछ आया रिक्वेस्ट,
हाँ,
रिमोट
जैनिज्म
कर,
इज टू। हाँ,
यस
अप्रूव
यस कर
कर दे।
दीजिए। यस
अप्रूव कर
सर,
दे।
या अप्रूवल कर दीजिए, जिससे
हाँ,
मैं
अप्रूव कर दिया।
जस्ट मैं स्लाइड में आपका रिमोट लेता हूँ।
हो गया।
ओके, आप अभी कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं।
Now it is okay. Everyone is seeing.
यस यस
यस
यस,
सर,
Now it is audible also.
यस सर।
Okay. I am going to discuss India-Vietnam relations, as well as how Jainism introduced in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, and what are the remains of Jainism in Southeast Asia, especially in Vietnam. The India-Vietnam cultural contact can be traced back from very remote past. It is not a new thing. Indian people used to go Southeast Asia very often. And Southeast Asia is well known to Indians, and we call it Swarn Bhumi, land of the gold, or Swarndip, island of gold. Indian navigators used to sail regularly to these places for riches. ये complete हमारा नहीं आ रहा है।
नेक्स्ट क्लिक करिए ना, तब आएगा। हाँ, ये
पूरा हमारा आ नहीं रहा है, ये पूरा। इसको
नहीं,
शॉर्ट, इसको थोड़ा सा ये करना है।
ये आपकी एक स्लाइड है कि ये इसके संग में और भी लिखा हुआ है?
नहीं, अभी तो बहुत स्लाइड है हमारे पास,
हाँ,
50
आप
अराउंड 40।
क्लिक करिए ना, नेक्स्ट
नहीं
क्लिक
नहीं,
करिए।
इसको मैं यहाँ पर ये जो आ रहा है इससे मैं पूरा पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ। इसको थोड़ा सा ये करें, नैरो करें, जिससे कि मैं अपना पढ़ पाऊँ।
आपके डिस्प्ले पे अभी क्या आ रहा है? ये
डिस्प्ले पर तो
स्क्रीन।
ठीक है, लेकिन पूरा कंप्लीट स्क्रीन आ रहा है, लेकिन जो फोटो है सर उसको
ओके,
थोड़ा सा नैरो कीजिए, हमारे मैटर को नैरो कीजिए।
मैटर को नैरो कीजिए। सर आपको वहां से आपके कंप्यूटर से करना पड़ेगा। आपको
वो
अगर
आपको
ये
खुद
दिक्कत आ रही हो तो स्केप बटन दबाइए, जिससे नॉर्मल हो जाएगा।
स्केप स्केप।
स्केप, हाँ, यस, अभी ये
नहीं तो
ठीक है।
इसको इसको मैं खत्म करना चाहता हूँ ना, ताकि
नहीं, इसको नेक्स्ट दबाइए ना बच्चन जी, इसके बाद की जो स्लाइड है वो दबाइए।
वो तो ठीक है, वो तो दब रहा है ये। एनीवे, India Vietnam cultural contact occurred very frequently before the Christian era. We have historical records. पूरा कंप्लीट मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ। इसको थोड़ा सा आप इसको स्क्रीन को थोड़ा सा ये करेंगे। हेलो
Hello.
यस
या
सर।
स्क्रीन को थोड़ा सा ये कीजिए, या
फिर
फोटो
से
को स्क्रीन।
एक काम करें, फिर से मुझे रिमोट कंट्रोल दे दीजिए, 1 मिनट।
हाँ हाँ, मैं दे रहा हूँ।
बच्चन जी, दूसरी बात, आप पूरा मत पढ़िए, वो तो हमारी स्क्रीन पे आ ही रहा है। आप उसके मेन पॉइंट्स हाईलाइट करते चलें, उससे टाइम भी बचेगा। वी आर
चलूं?
ऑलरेडी द स्क्रीन ना।
कंप्लीट आ रहा है आप लोग को स्क्रीन?
हाँ, वेरी गुड।
यस,
सो
हमें पूरा कंप्लीट आ रहा है।
हाईलाइट द
तो
मेन।
हमारे पास नहीं आ रहा है। एनीवे,
जस्ट मैं एक बार करके देखता हूँ। अभी आपको पूरा दिख रहा है, कुछ छूट रहा है?
नहीं छूट रहा है, थोड़ा सा कट रहा है,
थोड़ा सा कट रहा
थोड़ा
है।
सा।
नहीं,
हाँ
फिर उसको वो एडिट करना पड़ेगा। ये अभी नहीं हो सकता है, जो भी है। वो
अच्छा, मैं ऐसा
पूरा
ही कर दूं।
कॉर्नर का, हाँ, कॉर्नर का कट रहा होगा शायद से। आपको
हाँ, थोड़ा सा कट
proportion-
रहा है।
वो प्रोपोर्शन कट हो रहा है, कॉर्नर
हाँ,
समझ में आया।
थोड़ा
वो अभी नहीं हो सकता, आप थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है। So India Vietnam cultural contact occurred very long past before the Christian era. We have historical records of remote past of a very mighty kingdom that is called Champa. It was located on the Indian coast, Indian Gangetic coast near Bhagalpur, a city of Bihar state. We have sources about Champa. We have large number of records through which we learn about Champa. They are inscriptions, sculptures, monuments, and other records. Let me first speak about some prehistoric Vietnam, because we know about Champa from written records, but India-Vietnam relations was not up to Champa, but it was long back, prehistoric time. But we don't have much information because I was traveling in Mekong Valley for the study of Mahishasur. I found there some of the images of Mahishasur, and that was of bronze. So since bronze is culture, India-Vietnam relations was existing. So during Southern culture, it is a late prehistoric culture flourished in central and southern Vietnam, and it is between archaeological sites are found from Mekong Delta, Quang Binh province, central Vietnam. Sahuan people were most likely the predecessors of Cham people and Austronesian speaking people who were the founder of the kingdom of Champa. Sahuan sites were rich in locally worked iron artifacts typified by axes, sword, spearhead, knives, and sickles. Bronze artifacts were dominant in the Dong Son sites found in northern Vietnam, elsewhere in mainland Southeast Asia. So Dong Son culture, after Sahuan culture, there was a very important culture existing, and that was the Bronze Age culture. And it was existing not only in northern Vietnam, but it was extended up to southern Vietnam. And the speciality of the Dong Son site was both bronze and iron we find simultaneously. In India, iron came very late, bronze came early, but there we find in Dong Son culture both iron and bronze. On the bed of Mekong Delta, I found there is that is kept in the museum. I don't remember the place, but I found one half body of Mahishasur there in the art style of Champa. But that was not the kingdom. That was not the place of place where Champa was existing. Champa was controlling. Champa was a very powerful kingdom. So in 2007, I visited Mekong Delta and deeply studied Dong Son culture. So bronze was the specialty of Dong Son culture, and the most important artifacts was bronze drum. Bronze drum was used for invoking rain, and drum is the musical instrument of Lord Shiva. But the type of drum where we find that is a different, well decorated rim, and body is also well decorated. These drums dates back from 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD. And first of all, it was discovered in northern Vietnam, in Dong Son village. That's why it was called Dong Son culture. So all the French scholars have studied, but it needs to be studied from the Asian perspective. Why Asian perspectives? Because that decoration of the rim needs to be needs to be analyzed properly. We may find some of the Jain elements on the drum. Very nice drum. I have written an article. It was published very long back by Banaras Hindu University. I had presented this paper at the Banaras Hindu University. So it requires to be deeply studied from the Asian perspectives, because Jainism is not a new religion. It is older than the Buddhism, but Buddhism prospered much as compared to Jainism and Hinduism. So port of Inparima, let me first start what was the route covered and what was the nature of the route. There were different ports from which Indian traders used to live for Southeast Asian countries. They were Tamrilipti in Bengal, Mamallapuram, Madras, and Nagpattinam, Kerala. They were the important seaports from where Indian used to embark for different countries to Southeast Asia. So Indian used to visit Southeast Asia by three modes of routes. That is, first, land route from Northeast India through Assam. Manipur is not the gateway. Manipur is the gateway entry through Burma, Myanmar, to Southeast Asian countries, and partly land route and partly sea routes. Traders used to leave for the Indian coast to Takwapa and other ports, cross the land of Malacca, then to the Pacific port. Then sea routes. Traders used to sea routes to reach different places of Southeast Asia. Sources. What are the sources to study Southeast Asia? Besides Chinese important sources, so Chinese, for Champa, Chinese sources reflects a lot. And early history of Champa, we have analyzed, or scholars have analyzed history of Champa from Chinese sources. But Indian sources are also there, like Pali Nidesha, Milind Panya, and other sources are Ptolemy of Erythraean Sea, Periplus of Erythraean Sea, Pliny's Natural Historia, Geography of Ptolemy. These are the important sources through which we know about the Indian contacts with Southeast Asia. You see, this is the whole trade route from Tamrilipti. People used to go to Southeast Asia. There were Mavalipuram, Nagpattinam. So there were three routes. It is already reflected in map. And trade routes was for a special commodity. India and Southeast Asia, Indian visited Southeast Asia not only for the riches. We used to bring spices from Southeast Asia. So there were roots, a spice root. I have written one article and I have presented this paper at Jammu University. I'm not going to discuss detail because it is out of my subject, out of my lecture. You see, in Southeast Asia trade routes, you see champa, and there were three ports, Indrapura and Kauthara. And you see, all these are all important kingdoms. Sukhothai in Thailand, Khmer Empire, Angkor Wat. Here in peninsular Southeast Asia, we are coming to Indonesia. Indonesia was very important for the trade, especially for the spices. So people reached there along with culture and religion. And why I am emphasizing trade? Because Jaina people, they were traders. And through trade, they used to made contact with Southeast Asia. So through trade, they visited. But I'm honest that there is very little knowledge about Jainism in Southeast Asia. Some people not know about this word Jain. It is very strange. Why?
जोगश्री जी, आई थिंक बच्चन साहब के यहाँ पे नेट इश्यू है.
Bachchanji is trying to reconnect. Let's give him some time. Uh, in the meantime, we can do a question answer round again. Julie Jen wants to ask a question. Yes, please.
Good evening to all the members and the scholars who are presenting their knowledge to us, our budding scholars, and throwing light on Jainism. I'm right now pursuing PhD on Jainism. Basically, how Jainism,
From which university?
sorry,
From which university?
Assam University.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So, first of all, I want to, I'll not ask, but I want the professors and the scholars to throw some light that how to encourage or how to make the Jainism a lucrative career option, firstly, and how much this Jainism is practically implicable in today's world. Thank you.
Okay. So you want to ask this question particularly from Fanantu sir or from any of the scholar?
Any of the scholars who can throw light on this, my query.
Okay, so can we ask firstly from Fanantu sir if he can
No,
throw some light?
sorry. Yeah.
No?
Maybe it's so difficult for me to answer. Maybe I will invite another Indian scholar to answer. Yeah, my presentation is so limited just at my university. So. Thank you. Yeah.
No issues, sir. No issues.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think Bhagchandra sir is the
वो
best
जूली को
who
बोल
can
दो
answer
वो
your
मुझसे
question.
बात करेगी फोन पर. हेलो,
जी.
वो जूली को बोल दो उससे फोन पे बात करेगी.
Okay. You just drop your number on the chat box. Okay.
क्या हो गया बच्चन कुमार जी को? पवार
जी राहुल जी नीरू मिश्रा मैम को अनम्यूट करेंगे प्लीज.
हाँ उनसे बुला लो बस. ठीक है
जी नीरू मिश्रा मैम को.
Unmute yourself, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. Jai Jinendra, Namaskar. Xin chào,
Xin chào.
Xin chào.
Xin chào.
To Hanantu from Ho Chi Minh City. We welcome you on this international webinar organized by this evening, and also Dr. Bachchan Kumar ji, who is probably online and we can't hear him right now. Dr. Jogshri Pawar and esteemed, respected Nirmal Bhai ji, who is the main person behind today's very interesting and very educative, informative web talk, which we all are attending, and also the esteemed listeners, scholars who are associated this evening with us. I've been listening to the excellent talk by Dr. Fanantu,
Yes.
and all about the university curriculum, which
Yeah.
you are pursuing so diligently. I also saw the syllabus, the courses,
Yes.
particularly related to Indian philosophy and Indian culture, which are being pursued, which are being, organized by your
Yes.
department, by your university.
Yes.
And I must congratulate you for organizing Jainism, particular
Yes.
part of Indian culture in
Yes.
your university. As I was
Yeah.
also talking earlier to respected
उसको follow
uh,
हमारा।
निर्मल भाई, बच्चन जी आप आ गए तो आप परस्यू करेंगे अपना?
Yes.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, मैं परस्यू
बच्चन
कर
जी
रहा हूँ,
आइयो,
खोलो उसको हमारा। हाँ
जो give the floor.
यही था ना, बोलो।
हाँ, मुझे कनेक्ट कीजिए।
Thank you. Thank you.
Close करो
Yeah.
इसको।
Thank you, Professor.
आगे। Now it is इसको पूरा करो या
Yes,
स्किप करो?
शुरू कर
पूरा
दें?
करो ना, इतना नहीं आता क्या आपको?
कैसे हो रहा है? कहाँ?
बच्चन जी ठीक आ रहा है, आप बोलना शुरू करें।
अभी नहीं आ रहा हमारे। एक मिनट जरा सा रुकिए, इसको बंद करो।
आपका कितना बचा है अभी?
डॉक्यूमेंट डिस्कवरी रिकवरी
बंद करो ना इसको।
इसको बंद करो। अब आ गया?
आ गया।
इसको भी खत्म करो, इसको भी खत्म करो, ये खत्म करो।
स्लाइड शो कर दीजिए।
इससे
हाँ, ये कैसे खत्म होगा?
सबसे ऊपर है स्लाइड शो, सबसे ऊपर। हाँ, इसी लाइन में से हाँ।
और बच्चन जी को बोल दो, जो कुछ है ऐसे ही बोलते, टाइम जा रहा है ना, विदाउट के बोल दे।
ऐसे ही बोलो।
जी सर आप अपना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। हाँ, as we are running short of time.
बच्चन जी टाइम होता है ना जूम का, तो आप conclude कर दें।
मैं अब कर रहा हूँ। हो गया।
हाँ।
So I was discussing about the trade routes. So we have evidence of a trade of a very big ship that was called Colandia. So Colandia ship is reflected on the relief of Borobudur, that is in Java. So evidence of shipping and commodities also loaded on the ships. So Jainism. Now I'm coming to Jainism. Buddhism. Jainism was known to the Vietnamese people along with 53 Aboriginal community. So there are 54 Aboriginal community in Vietnam, and Viets are the majority. Viets have the majority of populations. We see Buddhism prospered in Vietnam as compared as well as Hinduism, but Jainism, as I have already discussed, there was no mention of Jainism. Maybe it is because of both the Jainism and Buddhist philosophy almost same, very similarity. So that's why they mingled into each other, and Buddhism dominated there. Buddhism was the dominating. Buddhism is a dominating religion in Vietnam. That's why Jainism did not reflect. देखो पूरा क्यों नहीं आ रहा बेटा? देखो पूरा
Bachchan, I would
हाँ
request you,
एक सेकंड हाँ
you
बस
please conclude because of the time, paucity of time and
या
shortage.
हाँ
Yes.
हाँ
So,
मैं अब 10 मिनट में सिर्फ स्लाइड खत्म कर दूंगा आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट बिकॉज ऑफ सम
no, because of the technical problems, but I would request you if you just do your last two slides and then your paper can be shared with the scholars.
आप लोग देख रहे हैं अब ये स्लाइड्स को बेटा टॉकिंग नहीं हो रहा आवाज नहीं आ रही
स्लाइड दिख रहा है हम लोगों को स्लाइड दिख रहा है आप बोलिए
दिख रहा है हाँ
हाँ
हाँ अब क्लियर हो गया So we see traders community were mostly followers of Jainism. Even today we may see in India, even in the eastern coast of India, a large population of the people of worshipping Tirthankars. Thus, it requires intensive study. Generally, Vietnamese people called in Vietnamese Dao Jaina. Jainism is called Dao Jaina Kinagyo by the Vietnamese. During ancient time, Jainism was sometimes referred by Confucian people as Vo Tam Gyo, in which Gyo means religion and Vo Tam means without shame, shameless, lack of inner shame. This name is this name means religion of people without shame in wearing nothing. The Vietnamese people tend to identify only one of the two Jain schools, that is Digambar, and Digambar's people are more extensively found in Vietnam. With the name of Bo Tam Gyo, we can see an unfriendly reception of Jainism by Confucianism. Our friend Fan Antu has studied on the similarities between Dao Dua and Jainism and presented a nice paper during conference organized by IGNCA and Digambar Jain Mahasabha under the patronage of Revered Sri Nirmal Kumar Jain Sethi Sahab. The thing which we want to emphasize is everybody is listening.
Yes.
yes
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. There is possibility of considering Jainism and Buddhism as one religion, as we see many religious elements in common. We believe in karma, sansara, and in the strive of the absolute freedom of a spirit, which can be expressed and defined in various terms such as Kaivalya, Nirvana, Moksha, Vimukti, to be attained through absolute purification of body and mind, while Jainism as a whole underlines physical severity as truly essential. Buddhism puts more stress on the efforts on the mind, which is to a certain extent depend on reasonably functional body that continues to serve as its protective cell. Jainism has 24 Tirthankars from Rishabdev ending with the Lord Mahavir. Buddhism also acknowledges the same amount of the Buddha of the present age ending with Lord Sakyamuni. The important symbolic count of 24 of ancient India thus has great religious significance to them both, although universality and timeless are held to be very essence of Buddhism and Tirthankara alike. Visual images of Tirthankaras and Buddhas are likewise conceived by their worshippers to be endowed with Mahapurush Lakshana and other auspicious physical marks. While the honorary title applied to the large teachers of Jainism are very consistent, Jina or Tirthankara. The Buddhism called their teachers Buddha, enlightened, or Tathagata, that is, and Jaina and Jaina victors. The other less frequent epithets can also be found in both Jaina and Buddhist texts in all of all periods. Both Jain Buddhism adopted the use of auspicious symbols of ancient India such as swastik, chakra, vajra, moksha, uh, purna, kalsa, sankha, lotus, etc. Significant and powerful animals that are meaningful to life and society, such as bull, elephant, lion, also appear as sacred emblem of the Tirthankaras as well as Buddhas. Being initially self-reliance and non-theological in nature, both Jainism and Buddhism had felt the need of assimilating the ancient god of India and appointed them to perform associative functions in support of our humanity. Now I'm coming to also the great Naga or Nagaraja, those powerful spirit of fertility and life-giving water have been also many occasions described as being submissive and protective to the Buddha and the Lord Parshanatha, even against evil and destructive power. Iconic images of the Lord Parshanatha and the Lord Buddha show each as being protected by a many-headed mighty snake who is believed to play a part in their life history. This well-known type of Buddha image originated in India but had become particularly popular in mainland Southeast Asia. I'm going to show some of the slides, some of the sculptures. I have taken it during my visit to Southeast Asia. This image it is considered as Buddha Muchlinda, under Muchlinda. But from me, or you can also see whether it is 7th to 8th century image. I think that it may be Tirthankar or Parshvanath, but it is mutilated. Hands are broken. One hand, right hand is broken, and but Buddha is but the image, but the god is on the body of the serpent, sitting on the body of the serpent. This is 9th-10th century Tirthankar. This is found on the border of Laos. You see, 8th and 9th century Tirthankar, maybe, but there is no marks of swastika. So, but during my visit, I noticed it like it appears to be Tirthankara, because you see, from India, sculptors made sculptures, and in Southeast Asia, they did not adopted all the lakshanas, all the elements of Indian images. So maybe some of the elements are not introduced while making making sculptures. So maybe we can say that it would be it would be a part of a temple. But so far I have traveled throughout Southeast Asia. I have not find any remains of Jaina temple. Maybe all the temples were common, both Buddha and Jaina. You see, this is another. This image is found on the border of Thailand, 8th to 9th century. This is also on the seven-headed Buddha, seven-headed Naga. Buddha is sitting on the seven-headed Naga. This is mutilated head image. This maybe Tirthankara or Parshvanath sitting under the seven-hooded Naga. You see, this is also appears to be Tirthankar, under a seven-hooded Naga. You see, meditating Tirthankara under the seven-hooded Naga, this entrance, this is on the temple. A series of sculptures, maybe meditating, maybe, but we cannot say exactly that who are they, but meditating, maybe Jaina saints or maybe other. Khmer, this is also on the Khmer architecture. Here Apsara is shown, but on the door jamb, we find some of the sculptures. You see, from here to here, they are all sculpted. Beautiful meditating sadhus on the entrance of the 12th, 13th century temple in South um, in Cambodia. This is another sculptures. This is meditating exposures of Khmer architecture. You see, meditating image. Sculptures under seven-hooded Naga. Such images are found scattered in everywhere in Southeast Asia. Mostly in Cambodia and Thailand. You see, meditating image. Maybe Jain Tirthankara, one of the Jain Tirthankara. You see, here all meditating, a series of meditating sculptures. One is under the seven-hooded Naga. Now I am coming to Ramayana. You see, we find evidence of Jainism in Ramayana. In Jain Ramayana, Adi Puran of Gunbhadra, Sita is mentioned as a daughter of Mandodari. In Jain Ramayana. In Laotian Ramayana, Frag Farlam, Sita is mentioned a daughter of Ravana, in which she has born to take revenge from Ravana. You see, this is well depicted. Ramayana, Frag Farlam is well depicted on the wall of the temples in Laos as well as Thailand. We see food habits. Food habits, we see generally Vietnamese people or even Southeast Asia, it is their nature to take food early evening or almost at the evening. When Jain people also take their food in the evening, not after sunset. Thank you. हेलो
जी सर.
हाँ हो गया मरा हो.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Fanantu wants to say something. Yes, sir.
No. I don't. Thank you for your presentation. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to invite Niru ma'am to conclude the session.
I'm sorry for that. All these mashing things.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, Niru ji,
issue that we can understand. No issue, sir.
Thank you, Jokshri, and I congratulate both the esteemed scholars of this evening, Dr. Fanantu and Dr. Bachchan Kumar, for their very, very interesting and illustrious talks, information sharing with us, and many other scholars like me who are online. And I would also like to convey my gratitude to Shri Nirmal Bhai ji, Nirmal Jain Sethi ji, who very cordially invited me to be on the screen today along with all of you. So thank you, sir, and you had been always very kind, and I definitely like to get associated with more activities of the organization. And I congratulate you particularly for the reason that the topic of this evening, exploring antiquity of Jainism in Asia during the course of the day, and you enlightened me with so many information that evidences of Jainism you found while your travels abroad and farthest places like Ethiopia and Sri Lanka and so many other countries. And we will have a separate session from you so that we can get educated on this. In my understanding that as Dr. Bachchan Kumar also mentioned, that most of the Indian navigators along the sea route and Jain traders, as I know from Gujarat and the western coast, they were the finest traders. And why I'd say this, that it's very important, the Jain traders played a very important role because they maintained ethics in their trading. We don't get any evidence through my studies, no evidence where trading values were ever compromised by Jain traders. They were very clear. That's why they were loved, and they were the traders abroad were very fond of Jain traders. Jain ethics and the Jain followers maintained high level of discipline and integrity. So when they were carrying the ethics, they also carried Jain philosophy and Jain culture along with them. And that is why we find evidences somewhere very meager, not in prominence, but I appreciate the efforts of Sri Nirmalji when he says that we need to do more research, we need to explore in this area where the Jain antiquity is still lying unattached. I've been told there are many Jain chairs in US universities and worldwide and UK also, and we should strengthen relations with these universities, particularly with the USSH, the Ho Chi Minh City, and that's why the presence of esteemed Dr. Fanantu is very important along with us this evening. And I'm very, very impressed with his syllabus, and when he's teaching history of Jain, philosophy, art, practice of Jainism. And I would like to add two things to you, sir, that if you will add, because you said there is a problem of getting books, particularly because of the problem of English in Vietnam. So
Yes.
some translation is required. So if English can be an optional or compulsory, whatever language, along with the studies of Jainism, also Sanskrit and Prakrit, because without these languages, the understanding of Agam, Jain philosophy, and also of Jain art will be not so easy for the keen scholars who are, in spite of the language problem, pursuing a foreign language and foreign culture. So that will add on to your faculty, and that will add on the interest of the scholars. As a student of art history and as a student of Jain art, particularly, my very keenly interested in Jain art, I would suggest if you strengthen the teeth of Jain art in your university, in your department, the visual art makes a lot of difference, and students will take more interest. And along, you are already teaching, as you mentioned, that architecture and archaeology. So manuscript paintings, miniature paintings, because Jain miniature paintings and Jain manuscripts writing is very, very high. And also Jain textile painting, this will increase interest of the scholars in Jain art and Jain philosophy, because with the visual art, a lot of interest goes behind, and through the visual art, the philosophy also follows. This is what I have felt as a student of art history and as a student of Jain art particularly. And for this, if any help from us, from India is required, Shri Nirmal Jain ji will make it available to you, and we can organize a separate international or national, as you would say, seminar only on Jain art. So that will create interest of the scholars, and then Vietnamese scholars will participate and will take interest in this. I once again, seeing the time, shortage of the time, I will not take much time. I once again congratulate the organizers. And today's topic, exploring antiquity of Jainism in Asia, is very, very important. And such seminars will bring out two things side by side. One, how much interest that particular country or the students and the scholars of that country are taking in Jainism, A. B, what is the hidden archaeology, antiquity, or Jainism is there in Asia, Africa, and America? Have a comprehensive understanding of Jainism. I personally feel, it's my personal understanding, that Jainism, the scholars, is not so much in Jainism as in other Indian culture or Indian Hinduism or Buddhism is. So we need to create interest in the scholars. In the days to come, they are the people who will be carrying the interest and the Indian culture or the culture of Jainism ahead. So therefore, we should provide them with the support of the language, with the support of the interest of the visual art, which will be very useful. With these kind words, I express my gratitude once again and congratulate both the speakers and also Nirmalji, who also participated and gave us his insight and his understanding of his visits, and wherever he went with the curious mind to find the reminiscences and the antiquity of Jainism. And I'm sure in the days to come, he will enlighten us more on this subject. And along with this, I take the leave and I thank you. And also our international scholar, I say thank you. Kam on Ban. Thank you. Good night.
And
Thank
thank
you
you very
so much,
much.
ma'am. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and sharing the useful insight of
मैं बोलूंगा
with us. And listening to you always takes me back to the time when me and my batchmates were your students. And I hope that you will keep us guiding whenever we will do something based on art or art history. So thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really thankful to you that you accepted our invitation. It is an honor for me that I'm listening you again. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we
मैं
can't
बोलूंगा
we can't conclude the session without listening to Dotuha, ma'am. So now I would like to request Dotuha, ma'am, to say a few words about today's session.
yes
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, that I think that the topic today should be done research on more carefully, and in the future, I think that um, there will be many researcher and scholar who want to continue doing research on Jainism. And in fact, that in our university, I mean that Vietnam National University in Hanoi, also we have some program teaching on Jainism. But as I know that up to now, there haven't been the main institution doing research on the Jainism only. The same situation happened in south of Vietnam with Vietnam National University in Ho Chi Minh City. That's why I hope that in the future we can have better cooperation with your institution, so that we can have more useful and knowledgeable program on the Jainism. For example, I agree with Dr. Phan Anh Tu is that we should translate some good book about Jainism to introduce in our country. Of course, ourselves, we try our best to have done something already, but I think that not enough. That's why I hope that in the future, since now on, we can have, very clearly scheduled program, and also we can have more international conference about Jainism. Thank you very much for inviting me to listen to you. And I hope that in the future we will have a, some cooperation with myself in particular and with my university in general. Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to see the King Jane for a long time, still very powerful, very strong. And I hope that with your leadership, everything will be better in the future. And right now is in, coming for lunar calendar, New Year holiday in our country. I wish all of you happiness, success, prosperity, and good luck for the new year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was an honor for us that you have spared your time and joined our meeting. And in 2019, I met you personally in IJNCA during a conference. And that time I met you and your students, and I've seen you people how dedicatedly you all are working. And I hope that someday we can collaborate and do some projects together. So thank you so much. So I would like to request our respectable Babuji Sethi ji to say a few words and conclude the session.
क्या बोलना चाहते हैं क्या?
हाँ 2 मिनट 1 सेकंड
जी जी
बोलिए 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 बोलिए
मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ. I want to give this responsibility of translating the books to Professor Dothu Ha. She's a good translator. I remember her. She has translated my lecture in Hanoi at the Institute of Archaeology. So you are a good translator. So you at least you start one book, start translating into Vietnamese. At least you take a very simple book and do it so that it could be published in Vietnam. So you will be both, you will be only translator but also publisher. You are a good manager. You arrange everything in Vietnam. Nothing is impossible for you there. So this responsibility I give it to you. So you take up this matter seriously, and hope it will be done, and the study of Jainism will spread very fastly under the leadership of revered Sethi Sahab. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I want to thank you, Phan Su, very much.
Yes.
Yeah, we are
Yes.
very pleased to hear your lecture, and
Yes.
I'm pleased to inform you that our friend and our chief patron Ashok Patni, he has business in Vietnam also, and he has announced a prize for you for this lecture. He will
Yes.
present you $1,000 for this very speech. He has told me that he will present $1,000 in Vietnam to you for giving
Yes.
such a beautiful speech. And we are very much
Oh,
thankful to Ashok
good.
Patni for giving this
Yes.
pleasure to you.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are very highly impressed that you are very anxious to have some more books. So we will send you some books as Mr. Our Kamal Jain has told you. We are sending you some more books to you, and we will also cooperate in many fields. And at least you give us one gentleman who can do research work in Vietnam and also in other countries nearby. So we are thinking that you will provide us such a gentleman who can do research work for us.
Yeah.
Yes. And I thank you, Do Thua Ha. She is very kind to us, very kind to me. And next time we will visit some country, we will invite both of you to join us in that visit. Because we have found a lot of connection in your Ethiopia. We have found 3 Jain temples which are 1300 BC old in Ethiopia. And we have found in Mexico these Jain images of Tirthankara, which are 2600 BC old. So all these things we have to find, we have to do research work and find connectivity. And particularly your place, Vietnam, his name was Champa. So Champa is the birthplace of 12th Tirthankar, Vasupuji Bhagwan. He born in Champa. Our J.D. Jain, who has written a book, he used to tell me that Champa is not in India, Champa is in Vietnam. And our Vasupuji Tirthankar, he born in Vietnam, in Champa, that is what he used to tell me. But anyhow, we thank you very much, all of you, for this beautiful, and Bachan Kumarji has done great labor to find out all these things, and he is very much, he's an expert. We have appointed him a director of our organization to look after our interest in Southeast Asia, and he has great experience. We hope that with his help, we will be able to do more work in Southeast Asia. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. LC Jain is doing very good thing, and your all other people there are Niru Misa, she has told a great thing, and our Manju Jain, she is from Nagpur, she is also there, and our Vijay Kumarji, he has done great work. He was in Vietnam and visited many things. He could have also told something. Our Arvind Boraj is there. Our Pramod Jain, Dr. Pramod Jain, I am seeing you from since inception, you are taking very good interest. So I thank you very much, Dr. Pramod Jain. And Yatish ji, we also thank you very much for joining us and giving us all these things. And we hope our next session, we are having your speech on Ayodhya and Tirthankar Adinath in next session, in next Sunday. So that will be also very impressive. And our Champat Rai ji is joining that as a chief guest on that day. So we invite you for the next Sunday also to join in this conference. Thank you, Neeru ji. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नीरू जी, मिश्रा जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको, मंजू जी आप भी सुन रहे हैं तो आपको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है। वक्तामर की जय हो, आदिनाथ भगवान की जय हो। नेक्स्ट सेशन आप जरूर ज्वाइन करिएगा, उसमें मंगलाचरण मंजू जी आपको करना है क्योंकि वो भगवान आदिनाथ के ऊपर वो सेशन है, तो आप बोलिएगा जरूर। और आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, पवार को बहुत धन्यवाद। पवार, यू हैव डन ग्रेट वर्क, सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड नाउ we have to see the work of Yatish Jain, how he is behaving with ASI officers. Let us see him also. Next time we will try to hear him more the next session. Dr. Pramodji, thank you very much. Pramodji, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Vijay Kumarji, thank you. Our Vatsiji Vaskar, thank you. Our Ajit Kumarji Benadi from Germany, he is always with us. He is always with us. I think, Benadi ji, you are impressed from this speech, I think.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for enlightening us, and thank you so much for knowing, telling us that how you and your department are taking keen interest, and even your students are taking a keen interest in for learning Jainism. And I hope that someday either we can visit your university, or you and your students can come and visit India and know more about Jainism. So let's hope for the best that someday it can happen. And even though to her, ma'am, I hope that someday we can collaborate and do some project together based on Jainism. And we will, and Bachchan sir is also helping us and guiding us. And even Neeru Mishra, ma'am, I hope that if she can associate with the organization and keep guiding us. We really need your guidance, ma'am. And I hope that four of you can help us, and someday we can we can work together on some projects. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. See you on next Sunday.
Thank you very
Our
much.
next webinar is based on Rishabh Dev, and two eminent archaeologists will give special lecture on Rishabh Dev, and based on Antiquity of Jainism, dedicated to Rishabh Dev. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, ma'am.
Manjujan ma'am, you want to say something? We can't hear you, ma'am. Can you please unmute your mic first?
I was saying if you can make me co-host, I'll show you something. I'll show you something. Yeah. बाबूजी के साथ हम लोग कंबोडिया गए थे, where we had presented the book to Ministry of Culture. J.D. Jain Sarkar के how old is Jainism and Jain culture कहाँ spread over था. एंड वहाँ के आर्कियोलॉजी को भी हमने पूरा प्रेजेंटेशन दिया था. वहाँ पर जो आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट थे वो हमारे ललितपुर के ही थे. जो कंबोडिया और वहाँ पे जो आर्कियोलॉजी का रिसर्च चल रहा था वो फ्रेंच पीपल कर रहे थे, जर्मन और इंडियन. एंड दे वर सेइंग कि इंडियंस आर नॉट लेटिंग स्लीप फ्रेंच एंड जर्मन्स. इतना ज्यादा उनका काम चल रहा था. जब हम लोग महासभा के टूर के साथ गए थे कंबोडिया, मलेशिया, बैंकॉक, नॉम्पे, सिम रीप, हर जगह हम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर को वो बुक भी दिए थे जेडी जैन सर का. और बहुत बढ़िया अंकुरवाट टेम्पल में हमने वो 52 पिलर्स देखे थे. वो जो हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा है कि 52 पूजा में आता है, 80 जिन चैत्यालय और 52 पिलर, वो हमने वहाँ अंकुरवाट टेम्पल में देखे थे. और जो वहाँ पे हमने पार्श्वनाथ भगवान की मूर्ति देखी थी.
Speak in English.
And the statue we had seen of Lord Parashnath, and I had to give presentation before history culture in Nagpur before Central Archaeology. And when I was presenting that picture of Parshnath Bhagwan, the historian said, how can you say that he is Lord Parashnath and not Lord Buddha? Is there any sign on chest, that little cross? So, you know, the head of archaeology, she stood up and she said, this one statue of Lord Parashnath, the small video which I had taken at Cambodia, Angkor temple, the head of history department said that this statue, this small video is itself such a big thing that you can write one book on it, on Lord Parashnath. She was not a Jain, she was from Jabalpur, some lady who told all head of the department that you can write one book on this Lord Parashnath statue, which was present there in Angkor Wat temple. That was the only statue which was not covered with clothes. Otherwise, the rest of the Parashnath statue, they were Jain statues, but you know, they had wrapped them in yellow cloth, put agarbatti and all. So Angkor Wat temple itself is a big dharovar of Jain statues. Yeah, there is Hindu Ramayana and so many things. But on the scripture, on the wall where there were inscriptions, they were of Neminath Bhagwan's this thing, Bharat. It was going and how he got renunciation. So we saw those things, and the latest excavation which had taken place, that statue, if I'll show you all that is on my laptop, that is of Jaina Tirthankar. And there were thousands of new excavations which were taking place, and the head of archaeology over there was from Lalitpur. He was heading that project. And he said every day we are getting all new articles which are related to Jainism. And Pratibha Tai Patil had also visited over there, and they were all pictures. And if we take up research over there in Angkor Wat, and we are going to come up with same kind of museum, not less than Angkor Wat temple. We are going to come up with same kind of museum in India, and hopefully by blessings of Sethiji, it is his deep interest that Nagpur is 0 mile and we should come up. It's centrally located, and 2 people have offered their land also to us. So we are preparing and we are working with Central Archaeology for almost 12 years. Bhakchanji Bhaskar is with us, and he knows very well the research of my father in. Yes. So I will show you in next this thing. I will just show you a small this thing. Have you made me co-host so I can show you the pictures? Yeah. Yeah. So I will show you the pictures. Yeah. Sheen's gray. We are making a small this thing which I'll show you what we are trying to make. So yeah. Yeah, this is my book, Jaina Method of Curing. And this is like a Bible encyclopedia where we started working. Can you see this on screen?
Yes, we can.
आपको अलग से टाइम दे देंगे, थोड़ा सा बोल दो जल्दी।
हाँ जी 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 सेठी जी, ये रिसर्च वर्क है और ये डॉक्टर्स ने पूरे एंडोर्स करे हैं, ऑन्कोलॉजिस्ट ने, और ये बहुत इजी है। दिस इज ई बुक, इसमें पूरे YouTube के लिंक्स भी है। जैसे ही आप लिंक के ऊपर क्लिक करेंगे तो जो पर्टिकुलर श्लोक है वो तुरंत ओपन हो जाएगा। जैसे ये वेरी यूजर फ्रेंडली बुक एंड विच हैज एविडेंसेस, ये हमारा है। एंड प्लस
प्लीज फिनिश इट।
या ओके, सो इन नेक्स्ट क्लास I'll show you about the shrine. What we are coming up in Nagpur, so we will brief you about in next.
Yes.
Okay.
So, ma'am, someday we can have a session where you can share your useful insight on Jainism with us. We would like to hear you, ma'am, someday. Definitely, we will hear you, ma'am.
I would like to say thank you.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank you, respected Sir Niman Sethi, and our professor to choose my presentation today. And can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. And with your book donation, we can set up a small library for Vietnamese students. And you know that's not only my university, there are a lot of schools of religion in Ho Chi Minh City, and they also come and to about Jainism and to research about Jainism with your material providers.
Yes.
And 2 years ago, there is one Vietnamese lecturer at my university to choose your workshop, maybe 3 months about BIS programs. And I think that next time I would like you continue to provide scholarship for our Vietnamese lecturer to join your workshop and continue. And not only for lecturer, if you have a scholarship available, please you can provide for our Vietnamese student. And I would like to say thank you again for all the participation or professor, and we welcome when you come to my university. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.